Looks like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has recently launched a new website showcasing the different characters that we've seen in the character roster stuff, and more importantly, the new ones from the Power versus Speed, the new character trailer. So what I wanted to talk about though in this particular video is why the naming structures are changing and why I think that's very, very important. So I'll leave a link down in the description to this website if you guys want to check it out. But one thing I wanted to point out, right? So first and foremost, we have a lot of Gokus, we have a lot of Vegetas. Now, if you notice, each one of them have parentheses of what era they're from and kind of the significance of the transformations are, you know, in line with that, right? So like Goku ZN has Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, you know, Super has all of his forms and so on and so forth. Now, the reason that this is important is because originally before Power versus Speed, we had Broly, but Broly did not have anything next to his name, right? He was just Broly. Now he's Broly parentheses Super. And I think this is a good indication that they're at least acknowledging that he's a different variant. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, Z's going to come and like the variant from Z is going to come, you know, in this or like a DLC or something like that. Maybe it's just like kind of a reclassification to make sure people understand that he is from Super and they don't get mixed up. But I think it's a good indication that at least they're acknowledging the fact that, you know, Z's open, bro. Like he could come in and do anything he wants, because they recently kind of had that trailer with the power stuff with Broly being in the Super Saiyan full form. So this is basically a new transformation for him. And then they reclassified him as Super. And I think this is what we're going to start seeing as these new roster trailers come out, is reclassifications of different characters as almost like signs. At least this is how I'm going to take it, as like signs or hints that maybe something else is coming. Because why would they restructure it all of a sudden? It's not like, you know, the intern just forgot to put Super at the end of the name. Like, oh yeah, shit, I gotta put Super at the end of this stuff. Because the reason I say that is because a lot of these characters, like Android 18 is a prime example of this. Like obviously there's a super variant of 18, right? I mean, Tower of Power, Krillin's wife. No, this is Android 18 who broke Vegeta's arm and left my man crippled in the street. Android 18, okay? This is that Android 18. And you might be saying, hey, she didn't really do much in Super, right? So she was just kind of hanging out and chilling. So maybe that's why they don't have that variant. Okay, fair enough. You know, fair enough. But why do they have Android 17 Super, right? I know that he did a lot of shit in Tower of Power. I know he was massively strong, but he was still a menace as Android 17, the android that beat the shit out of Piccolo, bro. He was still a menace there. So where the hell is he? You know what I mean? He's not in the roster, obviously, at this point, and they have Android parentheses Super, indicating that they acknowledge that there's a Z variant, right? And that doesn't necessarily, again, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's coming, but I imagine he will, right? I imagine that at some point he'll be in here, you know, the Z variant and stuff like that. Now, there are a couple of characters that are a little bit different, like Cell, for example. Cell is a Cell perfect form. So initially, back in the old days, you would have Cell from, you know, all the way to stage 1, all the way to perfect form. So it's kind of interesting to see that Cell is his own bracket. He obviously doesn't have any indication that he's from, oh, well, he's just going to be from Z, so that makes sense. But he doesn't have any indication that he has any other, you know, variants before that or any kind of like transformations before that. And kind of the similar situation with Frieza. However, Frieza does have the parentheses with Super, so it's kind of expected that Frieza would be only in their final form and then obviously go into the golden form once upon, you know, transformation and stuff like that. If we ever get the, you know, new stuff like that animated, eventually maybe we would get, if this game was still around and not into a new, you know, sequel and stuff like that, we'd get like maybe Frieza Black or something like that with this Super variant. But the other interesting part is that they kind of restructured the way Trunks looks like. So Trunks parentheses Melee was, you know, him in his Saiyan outfit. We obviously got the introduction of Super Trunks, the big buff bro. They are like part of the same transformation structure. So I'm guessing you just do Trunks Melee and then you can turn into Super Trunks. Now, unfortunately, my boy Piccolo is just Piccolo. Now we know he didn't change too much. I mean, if you look at the grand scheme of things, he did change a lot because he fused with Nail and then Kami eventually, and then became the Piccolo who he is today. But I would say the real significant change would probably be in Super Hero, obviously, where he actually physically changed into like a different variant transformation anyway, not just him absorbing and kind of becoming more powerful. So Piccolo here is probably obviously Z. Now, if they ever do Super Hero as a DLC, I imagine it's going to be DLC because they're not adding Beast to this base roster, bro. If they do, I'll lose my shit. But I'm pretty sure they're not doing Super Hero in this. They're not adding Gamma 1 and 2. That'll be a DLC down the line. And I imagine at that point, it'll be Piccolo parentheses Super, and then he'll have his transformations for Giant Orange Piccolo and stuff like that if he wants. But I just think it's kind of interesting to see how this is kind of being updated. I do plan on following this around because I think it'd be, you know, kind of cool to kind of come back every trailer and kind of see what different changes they have to some of the characters that they already previously talked about and kind of see if they're changing stuff. I think it's a nice little trail of breadcrumbs that maybe they're hiding. Maybe they're not, bro. Maybe I'm looking too much into it and I think they're smarter than they are. Who knows? But I think it's fun to talk about. So let me know what you guys think. Also, let me know what you guys want to see in the roster, bro. Who's the most anticipated character? Whether you think it's going to happen or not, who the hell would you see? And you're like, damn, bro, this is it. So anyway, I'm going to keep it there. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Peace.